Welcome to EMERJ TV, the podcast where the industry's most talented video and film professionals share their stories. From the directors and cinematographers to the editors, voice artists, and on-camera talent. Each episode hosted by Reginald Smith as he sits down for free-flowing conversations about how they got their start, who inspired them, and what it's really like working in production. So sit back, relax, and get ready for some behind-the-scenes conversation about production. This is EMERJ TV. EMERJ TV.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of EMERJ TV. I'm here talking with a good friend of mine. We've known each other for, I guess I could say decades because that's what it's been. But Patrice Bridges, she's an actor, professional actor too.
Well, thank you.
Not just somebody, I was in a play at the high school and, I got hired to do some car wash commercials. And they shot me with an iPhone.
Yeah, well, you got to start somewhere, though, don't you? True, yes.
But anyway, welcome to the program. I appreciate you coming on.
Well, thank you. It's a delight to be here with you and to see how you're just emerging along, no pun intended.
well, let's get to it. Let's get right to it. So, first of all, tell me, how did you get started? What got Patrice, little 7-year-old, 5-year-old, 21-year-old Patrice decide, I want to be an actor?
So it probably started when I was about 5 years old, Reggie. I knew that I wanted to be an actor. I knew that. I saw that. That's what I was. I didn't have stage fright or anything like that. But having the parents that I did, they were like, girl, if you don't wake up out of Fantasy Island and get you a real job to make some real money, to get some real benefits. So that was really placed on the shelf.
Right.
And so then I further went on and determined that I wanted to do telecommunications and film, so journalism, broadcasting. So it still kept me still in that mountain of entertainment, if you will.
Yeah.
And then I came to Word of Faith and took the class with the Egan's, the Purpose class. And that's when all the lights came on. That was buried down in me, that knew that I wanted to be in the mountain of entertainment. It just came back. She struck a chord. And so when that happened, she gave me a prophetic word, and I left and took a flight to California. Yeah. So I go up there, where the Hollywood sign is, and I drive on up there and I look. Now, when I'm looking at the Hollywood sign, I only see one L. And so if you remove one of the L's out of Hollywood, then what does that make it?
Hollywood.
Hollywood, exactly. So I was like, okay, God, you onto something. So I came back and I really didn't know, to be honest with you, where to start or what to do. So I did all the things that you shouldn't do. I went back out to California and I just started knocking on people's doors. I got the information, started knocking on their doors. I'm like, hey, my name is Patrice. I'm interested in being an actress. I got some pictures. And they were looking at me like, where you come from? Because this is not how it works. Yeah. Until finally I did meet a woman in Hollywood. And she took me under her wings, schooled me, and told me some things like, I needed to get current headshots. At that time, headshots were black and white, but you needed to have color headshots. I had like highlights in my hair, and she was like, no, just get to one solid color. And so I did. And then I came and knew that I needed to enroll in some classes because I'm a big proponent of education. And I started enrolling in classes, and then I started going back and forth. And then an opportunity came up with a George Clooney movie in California. On a Sunday night, I received a Sunday during the day, I received the information, and I needed to be there Monday night. Now, that's from Michigan to California.
Man. Yeah.
I was scared. But you know what? I was like, I'm doing it. I don't know how I was doing it, but I was. So, I mean, I had everybody involved. I I needed to have a long formal gown. I didn't have one. My cousin said, when you get to California, I have one in the garage. So you just pull up and you get there. Got on a flight. A friend of mine, he picked me up. I went to her home in the garage to put the gown on. Mm-hmm. You know what the problem was? We're not built alike. Our bodies are opposite.
That's why I started smiling. I went, probably didn't fit.
It didn't. And so now I'm flabbergasted because I'm like, oh, God, what am I going to do? But anyway, I still was determined to get there. So I had to be at the Disney Center. My friend took me there, and I got to the Disney Center. And just as God would have it, they had all kind of costumes. The lady was like, no, we're going to do your makeup, your hair, your whole wardrobe. And so they found a gown, and there we went. Now, here comes the other part. We're filming all night, so you know how long filming can take. People think that, you know,
you just shoot a take, go home.
That's not. I was there for 12 hours, I think. Yeah, 12 hours. Well, by this time, my phone runs out of juice. I have no juice. And I'm like, how am I going to get home? Because I can't call anybody to tell them to come pick me up. On top of that, I don't even remember anybody's number. Because you're so dependent upon these things right here. This is what you're dependent upon. And so nobody had a charger or anything. I couldn't remember anybody's number. So there was a producer there, and I started conversing with her, and I asked her, would she be willing to drop me off? She said, well, you're going to probably have to wait another hour. And she did. She dropped me back off at home. But it was such an amazing experience. That was my first experience actually being on set and being in that whole, that whole atmosphere. And so it was wonderful. And so then I was ready to go.
And see, the way you could tell you were really on a set was they had all the costumes and they had all the makeup instead of, okay, you're going to do your own makeup and you got to bring your own costume and all that. So, but that's not bad. Is George Clooney?
Yeah. So let me clarify that, though. I was an extra.
That's okay. That's okay.
Right.
Your first thing as an extra on George.
Right.
People millions of people would pay for that.
Right.
That privilege.
It was just really, it was just an amazing opportunity. I met some phenomenal people. And I'm going to tell you something, Reggie, which was key. I did it scared. Because I didn't know. I got to be in California. Now I got to get a flight. I got to try to contact people. I need to get the wardrobe. But I stepped out and did it anyway. And so that's what I would encourage people. Step out in faith. If God opens that door, run through it. Run through it. And because you know how this industry is. Yeah. And so I just stepped out and just did everything. And when I look back at it, I laugh because of all the different barriers that popped up. Like A, I got to get a flight. B, I got to have somebody pick me up. C, I need a dress. While I'm on set, my phone dies. I have no way of communicating with anybody to call them.
Yeah.
But everything, I tell you, when God is in the middle of things, everything just works out perfectly.
Well, I'll tell you, this is how God designed us. I used to tell the first person I told this was my son. He was he was afraid to get a job. And I said, why don't you get another job at another place? He was a really good salesman. He said, because I'm afraid. And I said, don't be afraid. And then I thought about it, I said, no. I said, be afraid, but don't let afraid stop you.
That's right.
And see, we have adrenal glands.
That's right.
Adrenal glands are designed to give you a burst of energy to do whatever you need to do, run or walk or push something or whatever. Well, it's equated to fear, but it's really not fear. It's your body's getting prepared if you need to be steady or, balance, whatever. And so it's equated as fear, but what you do is you do it anyway. Because in my career, I've been placed in situations and they'll tell me, okay, we're doing this and this. Like I've done 4 jobs and they'll describe what we have to do. And I'll be on the verge. It seemed like I'll be wanting to have a panic attack. And I was like, no. I said, no, I can do this. Because, you pull on, well, you didn't have an experience before that. But like my first big job, I didn't either. But I thought, okay, let me just do the little bit that I know how to do. And when you start doing something, here's the interesting thing about fear or being nervous. When you start, the next time you think about it, you're not afraid or nervous.
Wow.
You're doing whatever you have to do.
Right.
So it's good that you didn't let afraid stop you from flying out to California, because life would probably be very different for you now.
I'm sure it would. And so, and to your point, it's like that fight or flight that kicks in, that sympathetic and that parasympathetic system that kicks in is just so unique how God created us. And so I can't encourage, and to your point, I can't encourage people enough to just do it afraid. It was just like my first time skiing. I knew I wanted to ski, and I got up on that mountain. I looked down. I was like, these
steep,
two little
wasn't it?
blades I got to go down on. But I did it anyway. And once I got down there, I was like, piece of cake, you know, kept on skiing.
So now, have you, well, with the variety of directors, I'm assuming you've worked with several types. How is that experience for you, being an actress or an actor? You know what you're capable of.
Right.
And I know I've directed talent, and I'll talk to them I'll talk to them about the character. Like, okay, like this one movie I was on, the guy was a womanizer. So I sat down and talked to the actor. I said, well, does he know he's a womanizer? And that kind of thing, to kind of give him some more insight into it. But then it gave me more also. So so how has it been working with directors like that for you? You know,
Wow.
the better ones or the worst ones?
Yeah,
wherever you want to go.
Oh, wow. I've had some great directors, and I've had some directors that have been hell on wheels. So,
tell me about the great ones first.
the great directors I've had has pushed me. You know what I'm saying? To push that character a little bit more, because they could see something in you, in even the way that you have developed the character, and would say, like, I want to see you do it different, you know, and throw something at you, you know, that like they throw it at you, you catch it and you say, okay. And even if you think you can't do it, but you step out there and do it, and they like, it's like an aha moment for them, like, yes, that's what I'm looking for, that right there, that's it, that's it. So you feel elated, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then I've had some, not so nice directors that have just been like, just crazy.
Yeah.
But but
I can
that's
imagine.
part of life. I mean, that's part
Yeah.
of life anyway, you know? So, I've had an opportunity to work with some fantastic directors that really helped to shape my thought process in this whole mountain of entertainment, even when it comes to acting, and how, you know, you said just a few sentences ago about, like, you know who, or, you know, what you possess in doing this.
Right.
But I say, no, maybe you really don't. Because people can really extract something out of you, and it just becomes a aha moment, like, I did it. Whoa, where did that come from? Because they can extract something out of you. So those kind of directors, and I really enjoy working with.
And see, we come from, even though we've worked together, we come from two different sides of the camera.
Okay.
So my approach is, okay, I need to capture what I need on film or on video or whatever.
Right.
And I need to talk to Patrice, and I need to tell her something, but I can't verbalize necessarily what I'm looking for. So I have to, like you said, toss some things at her and see how she comes. And let me ask you this. When they tossed them at you and you did it, did in your mind, did you think, I nailed it right then? Or it was when they told you that was
both.
their aha?
It was both.
Yeah.
It was some that, you know, tossed it at me. I caught it and I was like, I got this. I'm going to run with it. Or I'm like, when they tossed it to me, I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do? And then they were like, this is perfect. This is it. Just keep it right there. Yes, this is it. I'm like, yay! You know, internally, I'm jumping up and down because, you know, you're on camera. You can't do all of that on the set. But yes, it's so fulfilling. You know what I mean? And acting is so fun. I mean, I'm not saying it's not hard work, but you get to act all of these different characters, all of these different people, all these different personalities, and bring them to life. some
something to the effect of when you don't know you did it. I got hired to as a senior editor, and my boss told me, I need you to edit this, and I need it to go a particular way, and I got it done. And I went to his office, and I was complaining. I was like, "Oh, it's not working. It's just a mess. I did something, but it's just, I didn't say it was garbage, but that's how I felt about it." He walked in and went, "Perfect." And I went, "Oh." So after that, I never badmouthed what I did, because
Right.
I did exactly what he wanted, but my bar was set so high
Right.
till I set the bar higher than I could reach.
Right.
But
it was not high enough where God couldn't reach it.
Right.
So the God in you just, just superseded and just kept on going. So yes.
But now, how many years have you been an actor?
Oh my
What?
gosh, I'm
You
trying
want me to
to
ask you
think.
that, or-
Yeah, I don't care. That doesn't. It's just been so long, because there was a period of time that I really started acting, and I had to put it on pause because I had to care of my parents.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say probably about 15 years.
Really?
I've like dibbled and dabbled, because, life was lifing. And so, you might have to pause for a minute. And then after both of my parents transitioned, then I was like, okay, now is the time. But during that time of caregiving, it was like, no, I couldn't. Yeah.
So now, Jeff Daniels lives in Michigan.
Right.
But people, and then I think it's, I forgot, it's Harrison Ford somebody lives on a farm, and somebody lives in Montana. Is it important for an actor to live in California, or can you live here and just?
Reggie, I really like this period of time because of modern technology. Mm-hmm. Auditions aren't done the same way. Remember, you had to go into, you had to go into the office. Mm-hmm. And you had to stand before the agent and audition there.
Yeah.
Well, now with modern technology, you can do it from your own home. I mean, you can do it from your car. I mean, with
Just do a Zoom.
Yeah, right. You can just do Zoom. Yeah, because I did a couple of auditions on Zoom. Mm-hmm. So no, you don't have to live in California anymore, because look how it has expanded. Look how Detroit has grown prolifically when it comes to movies. Yeah. I mean, Pittsburgh, Chicago, Atlanta, Louisiana, Puerto Rico. Mm-hmm. I mean, all of these places. So Hollywood is, California is not the end all,
Yeah. You'd have to
any
have
longer.
You'd have to have houses in all those cities. If
And
it
you
worked
don't.
The way they did.
You don't. And you can have agents all over. So like you can have an agent in Michigan, you can have one in Ohio, you can have one in Atlanta, one in California. And you have agents for different things as well too.
Right.
So yeah.
Right. That's pretty good. I hadn't thought about that you could, because I thought it was just one agent and they just handle wherever, but
And they may not.
One person
Yeah.
doesn't know everybody, and they don't know
Right.
everybody in different locations in different cities.
Or what if you do voiceovers? So the agent that takes care of television and film doesn't do voiceover. So you need an agent that's going to take care of voiceover for you, or theater,
right.
And things of that nature. So you have multiple agents. So like for me, I'm signed multiple agents because I'm not exclusive. I'm not like, Denzel Washington, where, what I mean? He just, one group that he's with, and that's it.
Yeah.
It's the, be all, end all.
Right.
So
now, have you done any theater?
Yeah, I have. As a matter of fact, when COVID came, the Rose Theater, Patricia Rose Theater, she's writes plays, and she's out of Grand Rapids. And so we started doing things on Zoom. So we did Zoom plays.
Okay.
And so everybody was from all over. I mean, that's what I'm talking about. Modern technology is wonderful.
Yeah.
And so I could sit actually, and we filmed in my own living room. And these people were from Seattle, Washington, Canada, Florida, Texas, Indiana, all over. And we just filmed it like that. So that was very interesting, and that was good. And yeah, I have done theater. And but what I prefer is television and film.
Right. from my side, now, as far as I'm a single camera, multi-camera director,
Okay.
film video. I can live here. I've been flown to all over the country. And a friend of mine, her son, went to school, he moved to New York, and he lives there now, and he's taken acting classes. And I think maybe he's been an extra, maybe in a couple of things, maybe three. And he's living there, and I guess he feels like, well, I need to live where the production is, I guess. And when she told me he was going to move, I thought, well, that's really not necessary.
Correct.
You can live wherever, It's just basically they want you based on how good you are. Now, because I can't even say starting out, because you didn't move to California.
I didn't, and that was years ago. I mean, that's well over 10 years ago. I didn't. They assumed. They assumed I lived in California, and I didn't do anything to change that assumption.
I understand that.
And so it's my responsibility that I accepted this as an extra. Okay. So I wasn't a day player or anything like that. But as an extra, it was my responsibility to get from Detroit to Los Angeles.
Right.
And so I figured that out. I got on a plane and went from Detroit to Los Angeles and did the work over there for that film. And then I think Monday night or Tuesday morning, I was on a flight right back.
And it didn't matter to them whether you drove across country or...
They didn't know. I mean, their whole assumption,
away.
Yeah, right.
You
just show up.
You were there.
Right, you're there. So, I mean, I know that I've received some auditions that have said that you needed to live in the area, and I can understand that, But I encourage people, if it's something you want to do, don't let the distance stand in your way.
Right.
If you got an audition in Chicago, if you're here in Michigan, we're 4 hours away, you could either catch a plane or, get in your car and, tra-la-la on. Cleveland is, right up the road, and, you can drive. Pittsburgh, yeah.
Well, Richard Dean Anderson, I think that's his name, Stargate. He lived in Vancouver. Every week, he flew into California, shot. Weekends, he went back home to Vancouver. So it was a series. The budget, I don't know whether you can work it in your contract, whether they cover it, but I'm sure you make enough money that you can pay for your own ticket.
Yeah. Well, when you get hired as a day player, they take care of everything for you. So, your airfare, your lodging, your food and all of that, that's all taken care of for you. So you don't have to be concerned about that. But of course, if you are working as an extra, it's more on you to have to take care of and be there and all of that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, it's interesting, and I'm really impressed that you showed up and got it doesn't matter if you were an extra. You were in a George Clooney movie.
I know.
That doesn't just happen. Because if it just happened, a lot more people would do it.
Right.
And I'm doubly impressed because you did it in the first place.
Yeah.
It's a big deal. I tell people, don't not try.
Right.
Don't not ask.
Right.
Because the one time you don't, I used to, I had a business partner, and I would talk about, how much I was going to charge, what my budget was. And he said, "You're going to ask?" And I said, "They'll probably say no, but they might say yes."
Right.
And most of the time, they said yes.
Right.
So, and one of the reasons why I do this podcast is it's about production.
Right.
It's about video and film. It's about people who work in front of the camera and behind the camera. But it's more about this is what we had to do to get it. I have talked to several people, and all of our stories are different.
Absolutely.
Some you might have gotten it a little easier, but we all have the same thing in common. We tried.
Yep. That's true.
And that's it. And we tried.
That's correct.
And see, and you and I, we've known each other, and I knew you were an actor. I was like, well, what is she doing? Like, you'd be gone for a while, and then you be back, and I want to ask her, like, well, I don't know. She might not want to. And I can ask a lot of questions.
Right.
And I was like, well, what'd you do? Okay, well, how was this and how was that? You know, what did it feel like? And I thought, well, you know, just. And then and we're going to talk about that in our next conversation, part 2 of this conversation. My role when we were working together was a little different.
Right. Oh, yeah.
So, and even I was a little different at the time. But
and my role was different at that time. I was behind the camera.
And you were an actor. So, but it's just interesting, and I'm glad you're my first actor on the podcast.
Thank you. Wow.
And what I'm hoping is other actors will come on and give their experience and what they had to do. Some people probably just fall into it backwards. Other people have to work years and years.
Right.
But the thing about it is, at least they're willing to try it, that they did fall, or they stuck with it, or they got into it. It might have taken some years. The thing about it is you get there.
That's true. But people don't really know what transpires, because see, they don't know your story.
Yeah.
They don't know that maybe you've been in acting school for 5 or 6 years, or maybe you've had to do extra work, you know what I'm saying? Or maybe you had to wash the walls in the studio to get to where you're at. Because what they end up seeing is the end of the production of things, and it looks so beautiful and it looks so wonderful.
Yeah.
And they just really don't know your story. So, of course, when people see me in things or see me on billboards, so you know what's so unique about this whole industry is that when people see the end of the production of a thing and they see you, they're like, oh, I know him, I know her. They want to be in the industry. You know what I mean? Yeah. And people don't know your story. They don't know the work or the grind that you have put in this. Maybe you've been in school, in acting school, for 5 years. You know what I mean? Yeah. Maybe you've been cleaning the studio up trying to get in, or you've been working as an extra and you might not have even gotten paid as an extra. So they don't know the grind you've put in, but they just see the end of the story, where they see you in a movie, or they see you in a magazine or a billboard or a voiceover or something. And so all of a sudden, everybody wants to be an actor. Yeah. Well, then when it comes down to it, the labor, the work, the tenacity, the drive, the focus, and all of that, it's like, well, wait a minute now. I didn't know. Because on set, Reggie, as you know yourself, you usually put in a minimum of 12 hours. And you work in extreme conditions. I have been in a paper dress, and it was 10 below zero. Yeah. And we had to stop because all of a sudden I was just trembling because I was so cold. Yeah. But yes.
Well, Patrice, we got to end this one now, but we're going to talk some more. But what I like to say to my audience is, if you're interested in coming on to have a conversation, you can reach out to me. You can send me an email at emerge.tv@gmail.com, or you can reach out to me on Facebook as EMERJ TV. Also, if you're interested in seeing this podcast episode or many others, you can come to my YouTube page. It's on YouTube. You can type RCSMG LLC. It'll bring you to my YouTube channel. You can see this podcast and many others. Or if you want to catch me on TikTok, I have some short clips on TikTok. It's hashtag EMERJ TV, EMERJ TV, or hashtag RCS Media Group, or hashtag Conversations. But anyway, and for those of you who I know and I haven't talked to yet, don't worry, I'm coming. But anyway, everybody, thanks for watching.
Thank you for watching EMERJ TV. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe on YouTube and follow along for short clips and exclusive content. Want to be a guest on the show? Reach out to Reginald Smith at emergetv@gmail.com. And we'll see you next time right here on EMERJ TV. This has been an RCS Media Group presentation.